Hello everyone. In previous articles and videos I've talked about being able to select a pre-programmed injector from the drop-down list when you're setting up the injector outputs. There are currently 60 injectors in the list, so I thought it'd be appropriate to show you some of the ways of searching for the right injector and some of the information that you can find out about it. Firstly, the injector selection can be found under the Outputs injector type. The Modular ECU currently supports up to 4 stages of staged fuel injection, so each stage has its own injector selection. Rather than searching through an entire drop-down list, which could become quite tedious, you can click the search button and you can search for the injector if you know what it's called. So for example, if it's a factory injector off a Nissan engine, you can type Nissan into the search bar and you'll see all the factory Nissan injectors that we've characterised so far. The application where they're found, so the engine which they came off, that we know of, often manufacturers use the same injector on multiple engines, is shown, and so is the nominal flow rate, that is the way that people normally describe them, for example 370 cc's per minute for the RB25 DET injector. The standard fuel pressure as in the factory system is also shown in this field as well, and the search system also shows you the manufacturer's part number. So if you've got the injector and you can read the part number off it, then you can type that or part of that into the search field and find your injector that way. For example, on the RX-7 FD primary injector, there's just one marking on it, which is 2460. And if you type that into the search field, you'll see that it pops up with your injector. Now, another really useful way to identify an injector is by looking at it. So we also include a picture of each injector that we've characterized. For top feed injectors includes the dimensions as well. That is the nominal length between the O-rings, whether it's 60, 48 or 34 millimeters, and the top O-ring diameter, which is either 14 or 11 millimeters. For side feed injectors, we just say side feed. Now we've got some other information on there as well, such as the electrical connector, whether the factory system is manifold referenced or if it's a fixed pressure fuel system, and also whom we need to thank for supplying us with the injector to characterize. Now another field that's shown here is the minimum fuel volume. Now this is the amount of fuel that's the minimum that we believe the injector can reliably inject at the nominal pressure. So what you can do is you can feed this into the minimum fuel setting for the injector stage, and then the ECU won't try to deliver a lower amount than that. What that means in practice is that if you try to deliver less than that, it'll still deliver the same amount, which would mean that the engine will run richer under that condition. The alternative, however, is to get into a really awful range of the injector where it tries to operate, and you can get, over-delivered fuel, or on some injectors, and on other injectors it may actually stop firing altogether. So for example, on the Moran injectors below about 50 microlitres, there's a very steep slope, and 50 microlitres is actually a lot. A lot of engines will idle on about 10 microlitres. So it's important to be aware of this limitation when you're looking at injectors. Now once you've selected your injector, you can click OK, and now you'll see that the dead time tables and the fuel flow rate tables are no longer visible. So this is because they're locked in the firmware based on the injector that you've selected. A summary of the injector information is also available there, including that minimum fuel delivered amount that I mentioned before. What I'd recommend that you do is put 0 milliseconds into the minimum effective on time and put that figure into the minimum fuel volume to be delivered field. Now, I've said it before, but I'll say it again. A big thank you to Paul Yor from Injector Dynamics, who taught me a lot about characterizing injectors and how to do it in a scalable, automated way. Without his instruction, I'd be urinating in a bucket, to paraphrase his words. And also thank you very much to everyone that's lent us injectors or supplied injectors for us to test. There's too many to mention, but they're all credited in the software. Thank you very much.